The annual Winter X Games competition features some of the greatest extreme winter sport athletes from around the world. Since the inaugural edition in 1997, it's evolved into the premier action sports competition, showcasing the talents of over 200 athletes in ski, snowboard, snowmobile, and snowbike disciplines. The likes of Shaun White, Mark McMorris, Tanner Hall, and Tucker Hibbert top the most decorated Winter X athletes of all time. Now, a new generation are following in their footsteps, pushing the boundaries of what is possible in action sports.
Oh, sorry. My name is Øystein Bråten. I come from a little place called Torpo, Norway. I'm 22 years old. And yeah, I'm a skier. I got into skiing when I was probably 6 or 7 years old. Just regular alpine skis that I tried to do tricks on and looked up to the older guys at the hill and wanted to be like them. Just the freedom to go on the mountain and have fun with your friends. It's a pretty cliche answer, but that's what it was for me, just go out there and have fun. Slopestyle, that's when you ride rails and big jumps and you try and do your best tricks and make it look as good as possible. The things that are most important is to have good ski control and then also good air awareness and then also good balance on the rails, and I think it just comes down to skiing a lot and learning all these maneuvers. You can have one run in your head that you have been working on and you want to do, and then you show up to the contest or on the finals day and it's totally changed. Wind blowing and snowing and bad speed, so that's happened a lot of times when you have a plan you want to do and then have to have a plan B in the back of your head. How I come up with new tricks is I get inspired by other riders, then you just start thinking about it and you try similar tricks and tricks that leads up to that one move you want to do. I think that mental game plays a big role, and you gotta try and just not think too much about it and just keep trying, and if you don't land it first try, don't let it let you down. In the air, sometimes you see a lot, like you can see the landing after your first rotation, and other times I don't see anything and you just rely on your air awareness, I think. Yeah, I get scared a lot of times for sure, but instead of taking super big risks and trying stuff that I think I maybe could land, I would just ski more and just take smaller steps all the time in order to not injure myself, as I've been lucky not to do so far. That's like every skier's goal, I think, to be able to just ride all the time. I've always liked doing rails and doing tricks there, almost more than on jumps. Just like a trick on a small rail can be something that's never been done and something cool to watch.
That is a very technical rail run, deceivingly hard.
What's cool with skiing is that people progressing it in all kinds of ways, which never gets boring. The X Games was the first contest that I started watching, and I remember it was so cool to see all those guys that were riding the X Games, and that was like my biggest goal, to one day become a participant in X Games. When I got the invite, I think it was in 2015, I remember I called my mother and she started crying because she knew how stoked I was to one day go there. And before I went, my brother went for some years, and it was cool to kind of watch him and go the same way, even though he was a snowboarder. In 2016, I got my first medal, which was 3rd place. It was just a super crazy feeling and I couldn't believe it. I was always dreaming about it, but I didn't know if it was gonna happen. So it's cool to see that if you just keep on working and it can happen. Winning X Games in Aspen was just a big dream come true and my biggest accomplishment so far. I was already pre-qualified because I got 3rd the year before, and I went to do my first run, felt really good, had landed my runs a lot of the times in practice, and then I messed up on the 2nd rail, so then it came down to my last run, and I was just like, okay, this is my chance, it's all or nothing.
We're into the top 3 from 2016, kicking things off with Øystein Bråten.
This is already an amazing run compared to his first. Tail grab and laying it out. Into the final jump, what has he got? Triple cork, 1440, he gets it, perfect!
made it so much cooler that it was in Norway, the second one, and all my friends were there and my family, and I skied at that mountain so many times before. And when I grew up and started skiing, I could never dream about having X Games in Norway. And then to have X Games in Norway and then to do well was super cool. I was super happy, still am.
What a performance for the Norwegian Øystein Bråten in front of this home country crowd.
I have my medals on the wall at home. Made a little wall with my podium finishes and like my trophies, so it's definitely cool to look at that wall and get inspired to do it again sometime. I just want to get better at skiing for everyday riding. That's like the best feeling when you feel like you get better and you learn new stuff and you progress and try and achieve new things. That's kind of my goal. And if I'm riding well enough to get more podiums in the future, that'd be really cool.